Alrighty, we are live, everyone. We have the Tanav, Selam, and Steve Wiggins mini match, and we got Coach Chase as well. Hello, Chase. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
You're gonna
Um,
like this. Check this out. My shirt came in.
oh, nice. Coach Ross, I love it.
Isn't that nice?
Very cool.
So we all have shirts like that. It's gonna be good.
All right,
Let's
so we already have some
talk about this
moves.
game, huh?
I've got the DGT board skipped ahead to the live board. You've got the analysis board. Do you want to walk us through the opening real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. So we basically have an Italian game here. It's a bit of a cautious approach. Bishop out to c4, and we have this h6 move to sort of prevent any fried liver action. So maybe in another life, somebody hurt Steve Wiggins bad with the fried liver. Um, so he wanted to prevent the fried liver. Maybe he knows his opponent loves the fried liver. I don't know, but we have really basic Italian moves here. And then this bishop move, bishop e3. Obviously, where else is it going to go? Makes sense to me. We have an exchange, and these pawns look awkward, but it's actually rather nice for white because it supports the center. The knight comes out, queen defends, d6 defending. Let's see, what else did I miss here? h3, knight f6, and we're caught up.
Cool.
Caught up. Very simple game so far. Fairly even. Obviously, chances for both sides. Tell me about these players, though, because you know them better than I do.
Um, so Tanav is obviously the younger brother of Tanish, and we know how well Tanish has played, and Tanav is just improving all the time. I haven't actually had the pleasure of playing him myself yet, but um, yeah, I'm sure he'll be, just moving up the ranks.
I looked at
Pretty
his.
young, I think. Go ahead.
Sorry, I looked at his tournament history, and he's been in quite a few pretty big events. It's pretty cool to see someone that young. Uh,
Yeah.
okay, we have knight d2, knight b to d2. Bring the knight towards the center. Makes sense to me. Tell me about Steve, though.
Steve is amazing at many, many things, and including he's essentially the resident woodworking expert. He's made countless chess boxes and cutting boards and um,
I love it.
all kinds of things. And I've played him over the board in I think a Blitz tournament, a couple games,
Yeah.
and I mean I think I won, but he had some tricky opening stuff going on that I wasn't really sure what to do about, and so it was a little dicey in the games that I played against him. I'm interested to see what he does with the white pieces, if he has any trickery things happening.
Yeah,
Um,
sounds great. He actually made me some boxes for this upcoming tournament I have with my kids. Um,
oh, cool.
so I've got first through third prizes. Uh, he just shipped them. All right, we have kind of a symmetrical, well, somewhat of a symmetrical position here. Only differences are knights and a pawn or two, but these bishops, these bishops now see each other. Question is, will we see bishop b3 or will we see bishop takes? I think the fact that he's thinking means he's considering bishop b3. I think if he wanted to exchange, he would do it pretty quickly. But obviously, cannot allow. Well, I wouldn't allow capturing on c4. The bishop comes back. So there we have it. And if bishop takes, of course, we could have an open A file, or we could maintain the pawn structure with knight takes. We'll see which way he goes.
I just have to update the scene here. Apologies, Steve is actually playing with the black pieces right now.
How could you?
Um, yeah, I know, right? So many
Won't take anywhere.
things. Steve's playing with the black pieces, Tanav with the white pieces. So if anybody was confused about what I was talking about,
It's all good.
that was the issue. And I am also going to take a moment to resend out the link to the Waco Club informant and maybe even my mother today. We'll see.
Delightful.
You know,
So our choices here: A takes or knight takes. Obviously, it's nice to have this file, and these pawns are very aesthetically pleasing. It looks like an Allen wrench that comes in
the
furniture pack.
Allen wrench structure. I love it.
Yeah, the Allen wrench pawn structure, right? It's like the magic cube from the Tartakower. It's my favorite. But and if knight takes, oh, never mind. Well, um, we have knight a5 hitting the bishop again. So perhaps wanting to make the Allen wrench structure. Of course, now white can just capture, and this knight is somewhat misplaced. So if we just have a capture here, now we have to use extra time to move the knight, and that does not spark joy. Does not spark joy. But let's see, get us on the right path here. Here we go. So what do you do here? What do you do here? We could even you could even see a check. It's kind of interesting. Oh, he slides back. Very mature
Hmm.
decision from the young player trying to keep his bishop pair. Excuse me, keep his remaining bishop. The bishop pair died a long time ago, but to keep the remaining bishop.
Very cool.
Now the knight's on the edge of the board. So la di da. I agree, Daniel. It's very good. It's very good.
What did Daniel say?
Allowing two sets of doubled pawns shows good positional understanding for that rating. What did we just miss? Castles. Excellent. Question is, will we see fireworks with queenside castle, or will we see perhaps kingside castle? What would you do? What would you do? Because I'm
Um, sorry, I
queenside
was
all the
just
way.
texting.
I'm crazy.
You're going queenside?
I'm going queenside all day because this looks fun. Um, and I'm
Ooh,
not going to be on Earth very long. Okay, B4. I get it. So that kind of clears it up. We're not going queenside. Main issue I have with this is the knight was already misplaced. Now we're
mm,
sort of helping it return to where it can be used.
right.
I think we have to use our time to accomplish things. Yeah, knight back to c6. We got to use our time wisely here. I wonder if we'll see b5 and knight back to a5. That would be fascinating.
Yeah, so even though the knight went back to a more useful square, it still is a couple jumps away from being actually useful, I think. And actually, it's just wherever you go right now, it's just so clogged right now in the center.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, there you go. Okay, that's a good route. Um, so still a couple more moves for that knight to be useful, but
You do the superfluous route here, but I like the easier one.
yeah,
All right,
yeah,
a3, keeping the pawns together. What does this look like? We got to come up with a.
yeah.
We got to be creative here. It's very interesting. I think b4 immediately weakened c3. Unfortunately, And a3 is logical to defend b4, but it's sort of just, again, we want to use our time wisely here to accomplish some things in the position, like breaking with d4. It's very important, very, very important in this position. All the way back in the long, long ago, before the nuclear war, we played d3, and we played c3 and d3, knight f6. We're all just dying to play pawn to d4, and I think that applies here as well. Very, very nice pawn break. Of course, this is covered. We're threatening that, but that's okay.
And
We have
black doesn't want to take.
a6 and castle's kingside. So he's committed. He's committed to his side. It's very good. Better to castle your king than not. Get this open F file, which is semi-open rather, which is lovely. Bishop not doing much, but I could see it becoming active once this board opens up. Oh, goodness. And Steve's position here, I like his pawn structure. I think better than White's, but it's just sort of the question: what are we going to do? How do we make some progress here? How do you think you would start with a plan here? What do you think you'd start with?
For white, or for black?
For black,
For
but I
black,
think we
yeah.
just got our answer here
Okay.
with d5. Interesting. Very interesting.
Okay, so the reason why I think this is not ideal is just taking, and now you don't have the double pawns anymore.
Life's good.
Um, but it's not the end of the world. But I think
Certainly.
taking is pretty natural. Um, One thing that's kind of interesting for white is if this queen ever, I was gonna say, oh, it takes with the knight. Okay.
Yeah. My reasoning is maybe we have some f pawn action in the future.
I was gonna,
Not immediately, but
yeah, I was gonna say I was kind of liking this fun idea later down the road if the queen had taken eyes off of this knight to do some tricks here with
for sure,
hitting
for
the
sure,
hitting the knight with the rook and doing some fun sacrifices to get an attack going.
that would be lovely. Yeah, no, I agree.
But
And I mean, if we take a look at
taking with the knight is good, I think.
this, just provokes e4, which
Yeah,
is
exactly.
not
Yeah.
fun. Let's go back. We have wow. So this is very impressive because usually there's no sort of tension in positions at this level, and we have pawn tension, which is lovely. Pawn tension is lovely, but really we got to take that pawn. And rook f to b1 sort of surrenders the kind of things we were talking about. So the semi-open file, fixing our structure. I think he's preparing perhaps to play b5. However, I think if you want to do that, let's clear up the center first, and then we use the other rook. Or perhaps we get some more ammunition because this is just a very nice rook, very nicely placed. What do you think?
Yeah, I like going ahead and taking it. Yeah, just kind of the only move it seems like that you nothing else
The,
seems
this is not fun. This
yeah.
this is not fun.
Yeah, long term. Yeah, even if you
This is
take with the
not
knight, right, you're forced to double that pawn and then you're forever kind of
settled
just
with that.
frozen. you're defending that e4 pawn and this e3 pawn. Just tough. You are preventing f5, but oh well, you know.
I think it would have shown quite a bit of awareness if we had a move like this, um, you know, to prevent.
Yeah, and Daniel Gell in the chat. Black can take
Yes.
e4 and double pawns. So
Yeah, absolutely.
exactly, yeah. So
Okay.
Steve's okay. So
What do we have?
Steve leaves the tension and moves the queen.
We're all very tense still.
Who's gonna take
um,
first?
hey, man. I
Still an
mean,
even game.
by the way,
Connecting
double
the rooks.
digits,
It's
double digits, Matthew. A double digit viewers.
oh my lord, we have double
I
digit.
know. Pop the champagne.
Everyone wants to see these two go at it.
It's a staring contest.
Such a
Yeah.
fun pairing. I love it.
I love it. Yeah. They have played before I checked.
Okay,
I believe Steve is 2-0. Um, so maybe that'll play into it psychologically.
right,
A4,
but at Tanav's age, it's like 1 month
of
goes
course.
by and he's like twice as good as he was the previous month. You know?
Yeah, exponential growth.
Yeah.
A4, I think it's clear preparing um, B5.
And the threat is the e5 pawn is it hanging? So if we remove this defender, right?
Uh-huh.
Now we can take here. But are there tactics with the bishop and discovery on the knight that could be maybe dangerous? I don't know. What do you think?
In terms of tactics here,
Yeah, I was wondering
it depends
if
on.
this knight had gone, can we take? You can.
We do have a move on the
We
board,
have a
by the
move,
way.
so none of that matters because it's not going to
B5.
happen.
B5. B5. Okay. And yeah, well, how do you prevent B5? You play B5. But,
Yep.
hey, all right. Good enough for me, man. I wonder if we're, oh my goodness, locking the whole
Locking
structure.
it.
Wow.
Okay.
So I get it, but now what are the rooks doing?
Oh, yeah.
We just kind
So,
of have to reevaluate our plan. That's all. It's not the end of the world. And still, this is possible here and probably fairly encouraged. Once this tension is settled, I mean, we're going to have to find that. We also have to get this knight out of dodge, get our c pawn, rook to c8, get our c pawn to the game, break, crack this thing open. It's going to take a while, though.
Daniel says, I feel like I blinked and his brother went from 1100 to 1700. Tanish, you
Yeah,
know,
man. Yeah.
he's well over, I think, 1700 now.
Uh huh. It's great. By the way, the tournament I signed up for, there's 2 people signed up for the open section.
Are you one of those two people?
Yeah. Um, so they're going to take a couple from the upper reserve, put them in the open section. So that means I have to play children, which is terrifying because children are incredible at chess. So we might see another 1400 rating for me. We'll see. Just means I get to swindle more under 1500 sections. So okay, rook d8, rook a to d8 rather. The tension continues.
I apologize to the viewers if you're hearing a child screaming in the background, but I think I've got my mic to a level where it's kind of filtering a lot of that out. I don't know if you can hear anything, Chase, on your end,
I can
but
hear quite a bit of it, but
you can.
it happens.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Oh, the tension's gone. Look
We
at the
got it
tension.
takes.
Now, how will Steve take back? That's the question. How will Steve take back? By the way, next match, I hope we see an English opening, or perhaps a King's Indian. I've seen a lot of Italians in our matches. Italians, Queen's Gambits. I would love to see some, Nimzo Larson attacks or something off the beaten path. I would love to see it. Do you know anyone that plays anything like that?
Um, Steve, I think Steve played against me like a winged gambit or something offbeat. It was a wild. I think he played a couple wild openings against me, but I think for the most part it seems like people are playing just the standard stuff, E4 and
Fair
D4.
enough. There's nothing wrong with that, of course. Don't get me wrong. Just you know,
Takes with the bishop.
E4 is pretty nice. Just kicking it immediately. I'm also looking at the position here. I like this square a lot for the knight. That's really nice. If we could get there, we would have quite a bit of scope uh, over the position here. Very pretty outpost.
Look at all those arrows. Yeah, very nice outpost.
It costs 10 cents each, man. Go easy, guy.
Okay,
E4 on
we
the
get
board. Good.
E4. Nice.
I think Steve tried fried liver versus me. Well, I know better than to try fried liver against you. Never see that from
Merry
me.
Christmas. We've got a candy cane pawn structure.
Yeah.
It's the classic bathtub, but you've got one extra.
Yeah. Hey, man. I dig it. Maybe a Santa sleigh. There's a reindeer. Uh, okay. Bishop back. Only move. Good. I think this is a wonderful, wonderful place for that knight to be. I really hope he sees it because that's just beautiful. What are some other ideas here, though? I mean, the rooks are misplaced. Rooks to the center, rooks to f1. Well, rook's going to have to go to f1 first before this guy can go anywhere, but
I
really
must
belongs to f1.
Yeah, I'm a little confused at the evaluation because the C and D pawns for white are backwards, right? Is that the definition of backwards where they can't
Well,
really
they are, but I mean, you're
and
confused that it's in favor of white barely.
yeah,
I think this is pretty equal.
I guess
Interesting. Knight f1. Pairing knight, either knight e3 or knight g3, perhaps. Okay. It's a juicy square for a knight. Also loosing the f pawn. Huh. What do you do? I mean, I guess you get out of the way first of all, but queen e3, very preemptive. I like knight e3 better than knight g3. Seems like there's more to do here in the center than yonder.
my daughter is snuck into the room here, so that's why I'm a little distracted.
Adorable,
Sorry.
adorable, and unacceptable.
Okay,
That
let me get her out of here, and I will be right back.
queenside pawn storm looks juicy. Let's see. Starting with c4, that would be nice. That would be nice, but I think there's just a little too much pressure. So, for instance, if c4 takes, I think file's open now in black's favor. And are there tactics here? There are. I mean, opening my eyes here. This is attacked twice. What else? That's about it, but just drops a pawn, I think. And now islands. But then again, so does black. Well, not quite. Not quite. Yeah, it's a good idea, but I think it needs to be prepared a little more. Does that make sense? Look what I got.
Oh,
So we had a comment about C4, and I think there's just too much pressure over here, unfortunately,
right.
for C4. But still a good thought. We've rook to the center, and yeah, F5. So black getting aggressive, playing on the king side. We've had a lot of fun on the queen side here, but it's time to start playing for checkmate. I think F5 could open the board up in favor of in favor of black. These rooks are nice. I like these rooks. This knight's misplaced for the time being. What do you do here as white, Matthew? What do you think? What's natural? What
Um,
feels
me personally, as white, golly, I just it's really awkward with these pawns.
sure.
I think I'm inclined to just um go ahead and trade. But
Fair enough.
whenever I get an F5, I always just dread the push, to F4 and
Yeah.
then just clamping down
Ooh.
on the space around the king. Um,
Knight 1 to H2.
okay.
Very interesting. But why? We're covering the square, but huh. Oh, important to note, something like this is not a winning tactic because of that specifically. Just
Yeah.
thought I'd mention. Some people might be thinking, "Oh, discovery." Well, no, don't do that.
Well, hold on. Wait. That, but then the knight move, but then we take their knight. Oh, but it comes with check. Never mind.
Yep, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, yeah.
Same,
Got to look out
totally.
for those checks, when you're doing
Yes,
your
they're
tactics.
they're a doozy.
It really is. You're like, oh, it works. And then check happens, and you're like, oh, no, I have to move my king.
Oh, I'm sorry, members of the chat here. I have you on a different screen, so I'm not quite as up to date on when you say things, but we had the same idea. So glad we had that talk. Very interesting move, prophylactic move here.
That
King to
was
h8. I think we might just see a barbarian bang bang smash, rook over, pawn down, and down and down and down to
Yeah,
G negative 10. What do you think?
I like that move a lot.
Ah,
I
rook
like that move a
d2.
lot. Oh, rook d2. Yeah,
Sorry, my
interesting.
bad. Continue.
Oh no, I was just saying I like that king move a lot with that plan, exactly what you were saying.
Sure.
Let's just push the pawns. The only thing that makes me a little nervous is we don't have a dark squared bishop. So once we push that pawn, then I mean the clogged center there on e5, it makes it not so dangerous. I just always think about that stuff when I'm pushing my pawns around my king. Like what color bishop do I have to cover the diagonal? Like when he played f5, he's got the light squared bishop there,
Right.
making sure that things are covered on that diagonal. But once you play g5, you just gotta hope that the center doesn't really open up because then it gets really hard to defend yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, hello. Oh, come here, you. Good God, this cat's cute. So this moves twofold. As per our last topic, I mean, it sort of adds protection to the second rank here, but I think we're just preparing for the doubling of the rooks and maybe our own barbarian bang bang smash play here. By the way, the barbarian bang bang smash, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. That's about half the chess I play. Is that rook lift? Very interesting. Very interesting. I certainly expected this, but that's a way to go as well. Rook f6. Perhaps not wanting to open up the king unnecessarily, and it's got to be rook a to d1. I mean, it's got to be right.
Yeah, I if you were moving your rook up to d2 just for defense for no apparent reason and then didn't play rook to d1, that would be strange, I guess. Um,
Yeah.
so
If
black's also planning to double up, it looks like, and then take. Black wants this and then open it
yeah,
up, and that's kind of a looks like a good plan to me.
yeah, no, absolutely. Also important to note, move like knight f4 is kind of just begging to be played.
Yeah,
It sort of gets in the way of opening things for the time being. But very good place for that knight. Kind of awkward here at the moment, but in the future, perhaps it will be the all-star of the attack. By the way, I hope Vladimir Kramnik doesn't see Rook D2 and think the worst of this group. Make another video.
oh my lord.
Uh,
Gee whiz. Chess.com said if people don't know what we're talking about, Vladimir Kramnik accused, well, not technically accused, did everything but accuse,
Insinuated.
basically pointed the finger a million times at Hikaru Nakamura that he's been cheating online and should be investigated by chess.com.
And so, what did chess.com do?
They
They
released a,
investigated.
yeah.
And what happened?
They had not one report, not two reports. They said they had 2,000 different reports compiled investigating Hikaru Nakamura's games, none of which revealed any cheating, which is not a shock. If you watch Hikaru's stream, he is making the moves in real time, explaining his thought process, clearly not cheating. So I don't know what Vladimir is doing. I think he's just combative. He doesn't like the online chess thing. It doesn't. I don't know what's going on. What's your take on that while we have a minute?
I think he just misses his flag when he plays chess. He's got to play with the FIDE flag, and he doesn't like it.
Right.
So that's my take on that. Very childish. But yeah, they consulted everyone, university, statistic people. They went all the way to the moon. They asked the moon men. The moon men didn't say anything about it. Um, yeah. No. Uh,
Yeah, I mean,
Ridiculous.
you've got thousands of hours of video of Hikaru playing chess live for everybody and explaining his moves. He was the last person on earth that would be calling out on cheating.
Yeah, this guy single-handedly, frustratingly popularized the Berlin defense,
Yeah.
which whenever I see it makes me sad personally. But okay, we have chess on the board. By the way, e takes d4. By the way, when we started that tirade, my fault. D4 was played, which is excellent, uh, excellent, and we have to sort of be careful here what we do because this is weak, right?
Mm-hmm.
This opens up. There's tactics here. There's tactics every which way, um, and he just takes right back. So I wonder if we'll see
Okay.
e4 fall. So far, no big mistakes. This is really the only thing I could consider, an obvious tactical mistake. Positional mistakes, perhaps, but whatever. Fairly even game, dynamic even game. But yeah, we drop a pawn here. We'll see if that's decisive. As my phone chirps to 1,400 notifications. God, leave me alone.
Okay, so what is black gonna do? Very, very tempting just to take on b4.
It's like Hikaru says: first I take, then he takes, then I take, then I take, then I take, then I take. Right.
Right.
With all
Takes,
the
takes,
arrows,
take.
that's what we're used to. Sort of like this kind of deal. Uh, and then at the end, you have this theoretical draw, and nobody cares, right?
Oh my
Nobody cares.
gosh.
Get a life. Very interesting intermezzo here.
Yeah,
E
that is
bishop.
interesting.
I kind of like it.
Yeah, me too. It's
It's active.
interesting. So the
Oh
queen
my god.
now basically has, in my opinion, only real two logical squares to go to. I think if you go back to and it goes that was the one square I didn't like, I think,
That's okay.
going back to e1, but
It's okay.
the reason being you're just um preventing your rook from coming to the f file if you needed
Sure.
to change plans. So that's why I didn't like that move, but so black now I think taking taking on b4 is an option. There's
Certainly is.
also the e pawn is hanging now.
You remember that plan we had ages ago
Wait, the
to
e pawn's
double to
defended.
double to double rooks?
What am I saying? The e pawn's defended. Um,
Put a rook here, or even more attractive, put a rook here. I think that's probably the better square. That would be lovely. Oh, okay. Queen takes.
okay.
Interesting pen here. And potential game-winning pawn here. But then again, White's center has finally come to exist. Can he keep it though? Is the question. I think we kind of have to see some mature decisions here, doubling, and even after something like this, now we're doing well. If Steve is greedy,
Yeah.
these are very dangerous. This guy's upset. He wants to be in the game. but I'm ahead of myself here. Let's see. Queen takes b4 on the board. 95 is interesting. Never mind. Okay. Thank you, Daniel. Not a problem. Let's take a look at the time situation. We got 15 minutes each. Very, very even. Remarkably even, if I do say so. By the way, everyone, take a look at this.
That is a cute cat.
So if my computer turns off, you know why. That one. Uh,
So, I mean, if I'm white, I think I'm desperately trying to get that queen off the black queen off the board because
I feel you, dude.
that black queen is just
It's a menace.
really really in a good spot. Um, so your rook is just stuck.
Right. That's why I think
Uh,
you may as well double.
double,
You
yeah,
have to you have to understand that e5 is your idea here.
yeah,
I think it's got to be played. Oh, yo, look at that.
interesting.
What's the difference, though? So good on him, but what's the difference between that and the line
I'm not
before?
understanding why that's not as good.
What's the difference? Then the queen just being out of the action, I think. Very interesting nuances.
Hmm.
You think we'll see a blockade, or you think he'll go back, or do you think he'll further entrench?
I think I
Oh,
think you
that's
got
not.
to go back because that f pawn's hanging. Yeah.
But do you think we'll see it?
Oh,
So
do
that
I
was the
think we'll
question.
see it? I think they've been playing very thoughtfully and pretty
Sure.
conservatively. So with that, I would say yes. On the other hand, it's hard mentally to go back, right? You're
Yeah, it is.
just it's like I moved up the rook and now I've got to,
Put it
bring
back.
it back. I don't know, it's not fun. And on the other hand, where else are you gonna go? I mean, you can blockade, but now you're yeah, now you're just
All right,
kind of stuck
we've
there.
got it. By the way, this reminds me of a game I played where I skewered some rooks like that.
Hmm.
Came to my mind. Well, well, well. Um,
And he goes back. Very good, Don Steve.
yeah, this is actually reminding me quite a bit of a game uh, that I won uh, when I became the official, unofficial, not really by TCA rules Region 1 champion because I'm not from Region 1. There were a lot of tactics with Queen H4, Knight to G5, and eventually, yeah, like this same structure here with these holes. It's very fun to attack. Very, very fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think we might just see a caveman charge here. hoping, hoping and praying.
Yeah, so
It's not going to win the game, man. I mean, I'm
if we start mobilizing like that, what's our plan as black? Just drop the knight back maybe to e7 and guard that square
well. This is a really, nice idea, but
or ooh,
I don't think it just wins immediately. I think
wait a
it just wins
second.
nice.
Yeah, it forces g6, which just feels bad.
It just feels bad, man. Yeah, and this
But
is open. Everything's open, but
that's what's
no
so
way to
funny.
take advantage.
That's what's so funny about chess. What feels bad versus what is objectively bad. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, I
Right.
opened that diagonal, and then, but it's like, is there anything really threatening that diagonal? No.
Oh, okay. Queen
Okay,
trade.
okay.
Interesting. I don't know about that.
Once a queen trade.
So this just deflects the rook from the. Well, I suppose not,
Yeah.
but it's still. Generally, we don't trade when you're down. Um, I think White has some serious chances oh, to attack Black. Black doesn't want to trade. Okay, pop off. Do you think this was the idea after all?
Hmm.
After all that, I think that was the idea.
Gee whiz. Maybe so. What's wrong with it? Why is that not good? If you're white, and that was my dog, uh, burping. He's a burper. He's a Great
Okay,
Pyrenees sitting here with me. I can't get a minute. I had a kid come in, a cat come in,
okay,
a
man.
dog come in. So if I'm not giving great analysis, I'm just somehow keep getting my sidetracked with
You're a
all
popular
these
dude. We have it on the board.
all these
Let's see what the
lovely
ideas are.
creatures that are joining the stream. Okay, so we get takes. Ah,
The knight can finally do something.
the knight can do something. Okay. But now what? Okay, so the knight is on a good square there. Very annoying.
Where to?
Yeah.
Uh, This looks fascinating.
Oh man.
um, just aesthetically pleasing. So I mean, I wouldn't go there in a million years. I suppose going back, but then now we have some kind of tactic here. Yeah, we do. So this is pretty. Oh, excuse me, wrong pawn. That's
Yikes.
that's quite something. Okay, I don't think we're going to see that, and I am fine with that. But this is off limits. I mean, really, here, here, or back, and I think there's downsides to each. Whoa. Okay. Here I was thinking he already played knight g3, but I guess I'm losing my mind here. Offering in exchange. Offering in exchange. Okay. All right. I think we had a really nice bishop there. I don't think that's the play. Um, if I had to put it in terms of principles, I would say we want to keep our active piece active. I mean, it's basically a bishop outpost
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
call it something. This is a beautiful square series of squares to be looking at. So we keep our active piece active, and we take our passive piece and we make it do something. And if we just go off of that, that should lead us to move the knight. Logically, of course, from our from our perch atop YouTube, throne, it's easy to see that. But this knight's been there for shoot. I mean, let me just go back since move 21. It's been nearly 10 moves.
Hmm.
And white doesn't want to trade. Fine by me. I respect that. Attacking the awkward knight. Now it's really forced to go to g3 or to f4. F4 is more forcing because it asks the question to the bishop again. But g3 might come to mind as well. It doesn't really have the same venom it did before. We'll see. Two options. Really cuts down on the calculations when you only have two options. What would you choose?
With the knight move, I think just knight f4 only because it's defended, right? I'm not having to worry about it getting trapped just yet. If we go to g3, how are we getting out? Because this bishop, even though it's kind of awkward here, is dominating the escape of that knight should it get attacked. I mean, you can attack it with the king. That's kind of silly. I don't think that's how it would be attacked. But this queen could come over, attack it, and how are you defending it, you know?
Yes. We do have knight f4 on the board, by the way.
Okay, nice.
So that's good. Good on Steve. Okay, bishop back.
Oh, and one thing we hadn't talked a lot about yet is the time situation. And their
Yeah,
players have been very even most of the game,
remarkably so.
but they are now getting to 10 minutes, which is my favorite time control on chess.com. A good old fashioned 10-minute game.
Because I didn't know if you all knew this, but brain no worky when 10-minute. That's the academic way to say it. We have a bishop attacking the knight. So, what do you do about it? That's the question.
Hmm.
There is this hard to find line here. Knight takes. But why?
Why
Where
does
else?
that work?
Where else is the knight going to go? But let's just take a look here. For the same reason it worked before.
Uh,
All about c5.
that pesky pin.
And even more forcing, I just realized, it's very difficult to find. So what you have to
Yeah,
see in this position right now, as we're sitting here, is this
right.
beautiful possibility, but that's maybe not going to happen. I wouldn't find that. My God. All right. Queen back defending, perfectly logical to me. Uh, no problem at all not seeing the fish stock tactics. Zero problems at all. Um, not going to judge anyone for not being a computer. Not the easiest to see in the world. Very practical move, you know. And I think that's the best way to judge chess moves: is does it make sense?
Yeah.
Why did they play it? Oh, that makes sense. Nothing wrong with that. But at the moment, very interesting pieces for white here. I mean, this rook is out of the action, kind of on desk duty. The queen is on b1. We do have a lovely battery here, but it's not really doing anything. This knight on h2 has been out of the action a while. If I could ask him anything, I would ask why knight h2 instead of one of those more active squares.
I
If we
am
look at
getting
black's.
I am getting called into the other room real quick. I
Oh,
will be
okay.
right back.
If we look at black's pieces. This bishop is, well, controlling quite a bit of space. We maybe have some tactics here. We can clear some squares up. Sorry, we have rook to c2, attacking it twice. So the same sort of thing comes up here. Excuse me. Rook takes. And now the rook's just gone. So that's an important pawn to drop, unfortunately. Oh, man. Excuse me a minute. And we have it on the board. I hear screaming from the other room. God knows what that is. Oh, it's a child. I'm just kidding. So that's a very important pawn to lose, unfortunately. And I think the uh, the game has swung into Black's favor with one flick of the wrist, one move of the rook, one capturing of a pawn. You sort of feel like you have to trade here, but it does not feel good just trading when you're down. Knight takes, rook takes. I mean, it would be nice to grab some pawns, but okay. Where did I go wrong here? Sorry, folks. Back here. There. Take. All right, and we're current. 7 minutes on the clock for each opponent, contestant, player, whatever you'd like to call them. Time trouble can produce some interesting moves as well. Where to go from here? I would probably just, well, what would I do? I'd like to open this up. I don't want to make this useful, though, so I don't want to take and have him take back. It doesn't seem like it helps me. It seems like it helps him. We have this long-term strength. If we trade everything off, we're going to win. We want to get this open. That'd be nice. We can start with some checks, for instance, or perhaps even just a simple trade of bishops would be nice. Nice for black, that is. Black taking his time, deciding. Okay, action. Yes. Sacrifice. Sacrifice must be made. Yes. I love it. I love it. I'm all about it. And I accept fully all responsibilities that may result from the sacrifice. He signs the dotted line. He puts it in an envelope. He mails it. He sits at his couch for a week. It arrives in Washington. President opens it. Ugh, a sacrifice. Incredible. That's the process for a sacrifice, by the way. Very bureaucratic. Excuse me. think I heard a Matthew in there somewhere. I think we're going to see this. Wow. Denied. Sacrifice denied. Fair enough. I can respect that because, my goodness gracious, the pressure overwhelming. You don't want to open your king up like that. Totally understand. This is free. I hear rustling on Matthew's side over there. I wonder. Oh, there he is.
I'm back.
Dude, check this out. Quite a development. So, we were talking about how the game, the tactic revolved around taking on d4.
Right.
Well, after rook to c2, taking on d4 was very easy to find. There's just simply not enough defenders. So we exchanged pawns, of course, that d4 pawn being monumentally more important. And then we had a sacrifice, was denied, declined,
Oh.
declined, right? And, you know, I will say this is a lovely rook on the seventh. However, there's a lot of pressure around these parts. A lot of pressure.
Hmm. Well, what to do now?
We were actually going over this kind of stuff in chess class the other day.
I
Uh,
mean,
Nimzovich uh, talking about the seventh and eighth rank, picking an object of attack, and it's very clear to me that White's object of attack should probably be this, since he's got a light square bishop. However, the nature of reality is such that White doesn't really have an attack here, unfortunately. All of Black's pieces cover all the necessary squares, and it's very, very tough.
so what happens if the knight jumps in?
92 check.
Yeah, you
Well, let's.
only move, only move. Right?
Yeah, I was going to say, let's look at all our options. uh,
And that's the end of that. Um,
how do you keep up the pressure?
um,
You could reroute. Well, we're getting a little low on time to be
yeah.
doing our what ifs here. That's a very reasonable. It's a very reasonable, pragmatic approach. Take the free pawn. I love it. I love it. Absolutely. And what does he want to do? He wants to go here. On there. Caveman smash. Tactics aplenty. We can go down there. I mean, this is not looking good for White here with all the resources. Fortunately for White. Okay, going after the weakness, I get it, but we've got checkmate a number of ways, starting with 92. I think the fastest way. H1. Let's see. Knight G3 check. And Queen E3. Will he find it though? There are plenty other ways to do it. Okay, we have it. We have it. We
Okay.
have it on the board. What else can I say? I was going to say there's plenty of other ways to continue here, but this is certainly the fastest. KH1. I am stuffed up. My goodness gracious. It is the winter time.
Oh my
Whew.
gosh, yeah.
T.
Tanav plays the best move. King over to H1.
Stockfish. Number one recommend move.
Will Steve find knight g3?
It's fairly easy to find if you're used to finding forcing moves.
Honestly, when I played Steve in Blitz, I did
He's
not
not
understand why he was so low rated. I thought he played great.
terrifying in that case, right?
Yeah, I mean, so king over,
Dun dun dun.
and I think he will find it.
I believe so. Excellent game, really decided by, unfortunately, the b4 pawn of all things. I would say the b4 pawn and the d4 pawn. If I had to make any, well, we'll talk Turkey in a minute here. As Steve puts some glasses, puts some ice in his glass, motions over to Jason for the what were they drinking? Cookie dough whiskey. Motions over for a swift pour. Kicks his feet up. Oh, never mind. Never mind all that. Never mind. Um, I was gonna say, well, he kicks his feet back, takes a sip of his whiskey, and plays queen to e3. But perhaps due to time pressure, he did not find queen to e3.
And
Perhaps queen f2. Uh, Also important to note, the bishop is still hanging, but
we've
not really
got
much.
mate on the board now.
That'll do it. All right. That works too, as he kicks his feet back and says, pour me some cookie dough whiskey or whatever they're drinking. Uh,
I mean, I would say that that game was very well played and
Absolutely.
um, by both gentlemen. I would say much much cleaner than than their rating would say.
Yeah, the rating doesn't really matter much to me. Besides, it's all made up anyways. But uh, we have our Italian. This is on the analysis board. The early option, the early decision rather, h6. I think really kind of put black behind in certain places here. There's a reason that knight f6 or bishop c5 are the main line, and prioritizing development over moves like h6. I would encourage you every time. But I get, maybe he knows he plays a Fred liver or something. c3, knight f6, anyways. And again, begging for d4 to be played. In fact, this position, we could just play it, even though this is falling. We can get perfectly fine position here. Something like that. Lovely knights in the center. Pawn structure is a-okay. But this is something players in the last couple matches maybe would do. Again, this decision, I'm totally fine with that decision. Brings more pawns towards the center, brings an open f file, and I would say though we get so this decision was the first. This is like the first critical moment where White has everything they want. White's got everything they want. They've moved all their pieces out. They've yet to castle. I still think Queenside Castle would have been an absolute bonkers, incredible game. Um, just throwing these pawns up the board, sacrificing left and right for open lines. I would have loved to see it, but I get that it's not comfortable. It's not standard, right? I mean, maybe he didn't do it just for the fact that this happens, but there's very interesting lines here, like G4. This is coming,
Yeah.
and if you play too passively here, like if you think you're going to attack, if you think you're going to attack the queen side, like B5, G5 is already an incredible move, and I think this is already like pretty scary if I'm black. So I would encourage both players to like explore those options if this is a position they find themselves in a lot, because we can get some fireworks here. What do you do to protect this pawn? With the knight?
Gee
Right.
whiz.
Then H4 comes. G4, big deal. Big deal. I'm going to double. I'm going to push, and you're going to cry. Big fat chest tears. So I would consider both players to take a look into positions like that, uh, even though it might not be standard. Um, but that was the first critical moment there, B4. And then the next critical moment came when, let's see. So strategically, we need that open file. We need that semi-open file, rather. So let's leave that rook there. That's a decision maybe I would reconsider. Uh, there's an idea in chess of like when we have a plan, that's like that's my plan, man.
Yeah.
That's my plan. That's my baby. Like I want to put my rooks on A and B1. That's my plan, dude.
Yeah.
But when the board changes, you got to change your plan, right?
It's
If
so
it's got to
hard to
happen,
do.
it's got to happen, and it is so difficult to change your plan in the face of basically new evidence, right?
Yeah. I remember
Very
a yeah, I remember a game in the um what was the recent one, the Isle of Man Grand
yeah.
Swiss, where Hikaru, I think he moved his bishop like literally one square from like, just for instance, bishop C2 to bishop B3, like made a one square move, and then literally the next move just moved it back. Was like, whoops, that kind of thing. It's so hard to do.
Whoops a daisies are fine as long as you survive,
Yeah.
but let's see. So that we're still. Oh, another excellent point here. Um, I would say a critical moment. The pawn tension here. I think we gotta take early, and we eventually had this, but this is basically the position we had, except our rook's better placed. That's the difference. This is exactly the position we ended up with, except our rook is better placed. Let's see. Okay, but take a look at this real quick. Oh, my fault. Got it. So look at this position and look at this position. It's the same thing, except the fireworks here, right? Anyways, let me. Well, let's get to the game. How about it? Yeah, I just downloaded the PGN, so we're solid. You can also, for future reference, just start another game, add another game rather. Go to games, add game. Excuse me. Oh, I think we have an Italian. Hey, this is a good day for Italian. I mean, okay. And this is Steve with the white pieces, yeah? Okay, so we're testing each other's knowledge of the Italian in this match. I love it.
My audio
I
was
love it.
muted there for a while on stream. Sorry, everybody. It has been a night. These kiddos, you never know what kind of night you're gonna get, and unfortunately, it was a rough night. It sounds like.
Sorry to hear
Okay,
that.
so we've got with the black pieces this time,
Oh
Tanav,
yeah,
and we've got Steve with the white pieces. So Tanav in a must-win situation,
sure.
with it being a mini match, only 2 games. So Steve not going for any of the funky cheese that he played in our Blitz games, being going for the standard stuff.
I tell you what, man, if there's anything I love, it's funky cheese. The funkier, the better. Very interesting decision, pushing the pawn. We're going to see what we should see 97. Good, good. And now let's defend our e pawn. How about it? It's a critical move. Otherwise, position falls apart. I'm sure Steve understands this. Moves like queen c2, bishop d3. You know, very natural. Okay, so the pawn hangs, but there's tactics. I wonder if we will see an early upset here. So I suppose Steve, understanding that the pawn hangs with tactics, very good. And taking on f6 is pretty much forced. Do you agree? You know, Napoleon thought that was a typo. As I conquer. G takes is going to be played, of course, because the players are awake. And already we have an imbalanced position. And Black getting the rare opportunity to play f5 twice in one game. Upsetting Ben Feingold each time.
And I was muted once more. Sorry, chat. Sorry.
It's all good.
Sorry, viewers. Yeah, I keep muting to minimize this baby noise right
It's
now.
not a problem.
She's wailing pretty good tonight. I don't know what's going on.
So this is a very interesting position. If we have c4 and bishop g7, it almost looks like a king's Indian after some work. Um, okay, we have the check. I wonder if we'll see c6 or bishop d7. It's sort of like a king's Indian from wish.com, accelerated, hyper accelerated, and a king's Indian where you can play f5 twice, which is just a dream. Uh, not trying to say anything from wish.com is bad, just that we certainly did not intend for it to look like a king's Indian, and just can't get my mind from seeing that, seeing the locked pawns, the locked center. I just see it, Matthew. I don't know how to unsee it. Okay, very interesting decision. I think that was a strategic mistake.
To take.
Yeah, because I think it just increases black's monster center. Although awkward with double pawns, monstrous center. So where does the bishop go? E3
Oy.
safe, A4 is fine. D3 is not recommended. Where do you go?
I mean, I guess maybe back to A4, not to leave
Keep
it
the
there forever, but the plan to
pen.
go, just zigzag back to,
Okay. So
or,
this is significant because in the future,
yeah,
break.
yeah,
What do you know? What's recommended? Bishop G7.
very nice.
It's not easy to, you know, to castle in that kind of a position.
So
I certainly queen side, but
Tanavin a must win with the black pieces.
we just have well, we have a game-winning tactic here if Steve can find it. This is straight out of the likes of
Oh, wow.
Paul Morphy in his opera game. Um, this happens when this happens in my Alekine's defense games,
Yeah,
my Queen's Indian games as well. When that B pawn gets exposed, this is the threat, by the way. Threat one, threat two. That's just classic double threat. And B3, very natural square for the queen. I'm really hoping he's seeing that right now. Significant advantage if that's allowed to happen. I'm glad to see him taking his time.
so
I'll be
what
right
else
back.
if not queens?
There's nothing else.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
he goes knight.
Maybe that's the only way I could see it
Yeah,
continuing. That's got to be found though, especially as these two sit here. I'll be right back.
yeah. So now I think protecting with the queen is logical, but we do get this move, which still allows for the tactic. And usually in chess, if you don't see it the first time, you are not going to see it the second time. But since we're still in the opening phase and pieces are being developed, you might you might just see it. I was explaining Chase that the tactic is now there again because we didn't protect the
Right.
bishop. Um, we have one more chance before castles to find it. And I was saying that oftentimes in chess, when you miss it the first time, you don't find it the second time. But since we're in the opening phase, I said, you might find it. Okay, so he moves the queen out.
I was just gonna say, I think he might find that because it looks like that wayward queen attack that we all know and hate from our first five blitz games on chess.com. We lost to it, and then we learned to defend. But it's good. He's making threats, posing the question. to black, what are you going to do about it? And I think black can do quite a few things. He can castle. He can play d5. I understand why he saw this, but not that. That's a little more advanced. But I think he probably, you know, I was hoping he saw it. It's a very nice tactical, you know, strike. What do you think? D5.
Yeah, D5. I was gonna say I like D5 better.
And this is one of the first things we learned. So I totally understand that he sees that
Yeah.
perfectly fine. Got to drop back probably.
Castling felt a little bit scary, even though I don't think there was anything there for white to do right
You
off the
mean
bat.
black
It
castle?
felt a little bit scary,
Sure,
castling right then, just because you still had that open diagonal, and you
sure.
have these two pieces here, which actually can't really do anything. It just felt a little bit scary at the moment.
It feels wrong. Yeah, no, I get you. Um, I totally get you.
Is long castles an option for black? I don't.
Wouldn't recommend it, but I suppose it would be very. Oops, I'm sorry. Be very risky. So if white takes, for instance, definitely not. That might be interesting if we get that position there. King f8.
Okay, so yeah, I was just reevaluating the castles.
Okay, we have takes. I wonder if the knight will take to reactivate. I could see why maybe he would do that, but I think you got to take with the pawn, get that beautiful center.
Yep,
Uh,
that would be a really nice. And like you're
we got,
saying, you can push this pawn, followed up by another.
hey man, you mess up the first f pawn.
Okay, takes with
That's
the
that's
pawn.
weird.
Now what do you do?
That's a natural idea.
Yeah. Okay. Plays
It's reasonable too.
the best move.
This is always looming.
Yeah. Just hoping for a
Cheapo.
yeah, just a blind spot there or something. Or
Because
probably take with the queen though.
black could be tempted to get this kind of thing in, but not really worth it. We really got to castle that king. No, this looks bad, but you're
Yeah.
perfectly safe.
You just got to make sure to not blunder this pawn once you
Right.
castle.
Fairly reasonable move. I understand it. I understand the reasoning. Get the knight doing something. It makes perfect sense to me. I think white can castle now and fairly reasonable game. What do you think?
Yeah. Getting close to the ending of the opening here, but I do like getting this knight off its starting square as well. So we can castle, but I think I prefer getting the knight out. There's no hurry right now to castle for white.
Sure.
There's also this to
Yeah.
hit that.
Yeah. And if we look at that, this would be not recommended, in my humble opinion, due to well, losing the game. Um, however,
Is there any way
this
to stop it? No, there's not.
no, no, there isn't. What do you
That's
know? What do we got? So I really hope he doesn't snap castle. Uh,
oh
be
man.
tragic. Then again, it's not something you really do on a snap whim. You have to find an uncomfortable move like Rook G8 or
Yeah, I think we might see that, Chase, because I did not see that right off the bat. I mean, it does look scary. We've been talking about how
it just
scary.
goes to show you never take your kingside pawns for granted because if there was a
Yeah,
pawn here,
yeah.
this would be possible. Uh,
Okay,
I really hope it doesn't end that way. If it does, I will declare a mistrial and we will have another game.
Tanav has plenty of time.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
He should think here.
yeah.
Um, what happens if you move the bishop back? That's
Nothing
not fun
really. I mean,
either.
it
It's
just goes back, and now you feel like
yeah,
I'm developing.
but at
So
least it's not game over. Yeah.
no, absolutely. Psychologically, it doesn't feel good, and neither does this. But we might just take our awesome
Ugh.
center as compensation for our king being misplaced.
I mean, so if that then takes. Okay, Tanab
No,
does
good,
the.
good man, Tanav. Proud of you. That's good.
That's why I didn't like the. Even though
Yeah.
I think the engine liked this one, that just felt more
Oh, it feels
difficult to me.
wrong.
Yeah.
No, no, absolutely. I think the reason it long term is good is just the alignment, but yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't
Okay.
feel.
Right. Right. But you can still do it now. Um,
No, of course.
you're hanging that pawn, but
Eh.
in a world where you castle
In a
queen
world.
in a world where you did castle this way later on in the game, you actually don't care if you lose this pawn in a sense, just get the rooks both over here. Um, long ways away from that, but
Long
yeah,
term
I'm just
thinking,
not liking castling kingside anymore at all.
fair.
We can't even really do that right for a long time because of this problem. This knight is
This
just a
knight's
beast
pesky,
right
but
now.
that's one thing about the knight on
Oh yeah,
d7 is
yeah, there you go.
it stopped that. But uh, okay, interesting. So
And we're
this is an interesting move because it sort of allows d4, doesn't it?
it allows d4 and it blocks your protection against checks.
This is a significant.
All right, it opens your
Sure, sure, sure.
it opens your
I
king. Yeah.
understand. This is a significant advantage for black if he finds it. A long term passed pawn. It is worthwhile to note white is not castled either.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Queen d7, perhaps preparing to castle queenside. I mean, okay, I see you. I think this is the wild game I was talking about that I wanted to see. I love it. Does sort of beg the question what happens after cd5, because now, you know, look what's become of my dream. I mean, where does the knight go? The center is not as good now, unfortunately. If we just delay that just a sec, this is much better, much nicer. That would be significant for black to find that d4 move, albeit tough. Okay, developing. This begs for d4 now. There's a
Yeah,
knight there,
yeah.
and major error, I think, not taking. Well, you can. I mean, it's just stacked up. Take it.
Yeah.
Take it. Very double-edged game. Excellent play by each. There it is. Yeah, my boy. Haha. He's got it, Matthew.
Tanav.
The kid has tenacity, tenacity. This is nasty.
Oh.
Ooh's right.
Well, you got to move the knight somewhere. Might as
Yeah,
well move it to the center.
I think we're going to see that. This would be fascinating. Now this really looks gorgeous. Or wait. Wow, just lasers everywhere. Just boom. Yeah, that's how we do it. I'm done. Okay. Okay. Understood.
Okay.
Do it. Give it to him. Give it to him. Boom. Triple zeros. Come on. Or O dash O dash O dash O dash O dash O if you want to be that guy. But 15 O's in a row. Hit him with the O's. Give him the zeros. Come on. Give it to him.
Okay. Steve going in for the fork.
This gets out of the fork, by the way.
Yeah, 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 it does.
Just saying.
It does leave the pawn, though.
Yeah, they don't need that pun.
Yeah.
This
It's
is the
it's
only guy we
doubled,
need.
right? Yeah, that's kind of with doubled pawns. It's almost like, yeah, just take one of these and put me out of my misery so I don't have double pawns anymore, you know?
Granted, it's the base of the chain, but I got to pass pawn. So, for instance, if this, we have forcing moves, and now, well, uh-oh, right?
Hmm.
We're safe. Oh, excuse me. And we're safe. It's been a long day. My guy, look at that. What a man! Seriously, this makes me so happy. I mean, I love it. This is dynamic, active chess. It's beautiful. So if knight takes, we're not going to pout about it. We're not going to get upset. We're going to move our queen out of the way. Not here, not there, not there, and not there. These knights, though, pretty incredible scope.
These knights.
They own quite a bit. They got their own Tetris piece and everything.
Really good time management by the guys. Um, that has always been a struggle of mine.
Interesting. A3, preventing this. However, oh, my bad.
Wait, we're not on the. Yeah, let's get back.
Silly me.
Da, da, da.
A6, A3 rather. God, it's been a long day, Matthew.
Oh yeah.
A3 preventing any of that. Interesting not going for the pawn though. I suppose he wants to cover. He wanted to cover that first. Um, and at this point, it's almost. It's not almost. It's dangerous to castle with yeah. and yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, excuse me, yeah, right? And the bloop, 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 the Imperial March. My God, I'm really liking Black's position. And if you'd asked me that, if you'd asked me if I like Black's position here, I would have said no. But now, good golly, Miss Molly, look at this game. Going after the bishop. I wonder if he'll scoot away on a2. Seems to be the only logical move. Although it would be pretty interesting to give up the pawn for the file. It defends the knight. It's the only problem with that plan.
Hmm.
Bishop a2, and maybe b3. Excuse me, or b4 even.
Hmm.
This is dangerous. This is dangerous. This is dangerous. Danger! That's all I got to say.
I wanted to bring the queen around, but we're protecting this knight right now, so
Right. That is important.
um gotta move our bishop. There is no way around it. Okay, I see why it's so bad now.
Why what?
I was still revisiting just ditching the pawn, but I forgot there's three attackers on that knight.
Sure. Ooh.
Okay, we
Uh-oh.
get what I wanted to do, but yeah, we do have
It
that.
doesn't work. The knight. Oh, Steve. You think there's going to be a tiebreak?
If Tanav sees the hanging knight, I would say there's a pretty good chance.
You got to find queen b3, and you got to take that knight. You gotta. You gotta. I mean, after this, what do you? This, got this.
He found it.
He's got it. He's got this. I mean, oh, we can even get our other bishop in here, start pushing, and just slice and dice down the way. I want to be a fly on the wall right now. Let me ask Jason about the reaction.
See, that's what we're missing here, Chase. We need video feed from the
Yes,
Howell
we do.
residence.
They'll probably send a SWAT team in. They hear 10 minutes of conversation. I've never been there.
The house. Yeah.
Yeah, too far away. I'm just joking, by the way. I don't know what y'all talking about.
Yeah, we need you to come out.
If the Waco tournaments are planned in advance, I can plan for it. Like especially since I'm trying to do one tournament per month now,
Okay,
um,
yeah.
I can plan for it. And if I'm a sucker for pain, maybe we can do a bobblehead nonsense thing the night before. It just means I have to drive and then play. Uh,
Yeah, that would be really cool. I drive out your way, but I'm basically
you're good.
day trip only at this point in
I
my life.
understand.
Yeah.
There is the Region One championship coming up uh, in Lubbock. That is, it's the one I won last year that I didn't get the trophy for because I'm not from Region One because TCA has rules that say I can't do that, which is lame-o kablamo. So the guy I beat got the trophy. He said, "I didn't really earn this." I said, "I know." So funny.
Okay, so we
Kind
did
of money
get
though.
castles. Now, are there any tricks? Can we set up some tricks to win a piece back to get a good position.
Well, first of all, take on b3 or don't.
Okay, we've got knight to c6.
I would have just taken the bishop
Yeah.
personally, but uh, we've just blocked the bishop, which was beautiful where it was. I think we have to provoke weaknesses. I think moves like h5, h4, h3, for instance. Um, moves like moves like queen. Well, the previous position. Ooh,
Interesting.
okay.
So Steve is I was just about to say, with the queen moving down, yeah, you lost your knight, but the plan was to get this queen to the side of the board, and the only way to do that is to get your bishop out of the way. And it's not going to do anything on a2 at this point.
You think he's just going to go wild with an attack
I
here?
think, yeah, I
Boom,
would just
boom, boom, boom,
exactly
boom.
yeah, maybe not takes, but yeah, definitely let's move the pawns up the board and just hope that that Tanav is not going to put pressure.
I think the moves for black are fairly well. They play themselves. Even just d3 here is gorgeous. Open up that diagonal as well. Okay, that's not the direction we should be going.
Whoa, hold on, what's going
Yeah,
on?
there's the reason is here and
Uh-huh.
tactics.
Oh.
Yeah, buddy. So remove the defender is the name of the game.
All right, so
So
Steve
there's a
Oh,
chance.
Steve
Oh,
finds it
buddy.
immediately. Does he see the follow-up though?
Iho Silver. I mean, if Tanav snap took. Okay, now
Oh.
sit on your hands, Steve. Sit on your hands, Steve. Park those hands by your side, my guy. Think. It's how quickly things can change. You were absolutely right.
Wow.
And the frustrating thing is, all that was from the bishop moving.
That's why chess is so
Unforgiving.
it's so awesome and horrible and horrific at the
Yes.
same time. I mean, everything
Oh my
was
God.
fine and dandy. You move the bishop one move, and then you run into something that looks so innocent, and you're just like, oh, takes, I'm fine. Oh,
Nope.
and he found it.
Oh my God. The pain, the misery. Oh, no compensation either. Just he doesn't even get the knife for it. That's upsetting. Oh, I'm resigning at that point, personally. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, you've got your pass pawn, but
yeah, but it's I don't know. I mean, I would say it's completely winning for white. That's what I just said about black. So
yeah,
truthfully, like let's see, prove it, play it out, prove it.
we went from -3 to +4 in a couple moves, so but
I've got +6.
but now, yeah, even after okay, you got to move the king, right? After you move the king,
Sure.
the queen gets taken, and then you have a new problem. Now your bishop's under attack, and we can't afford to lose any more pieces. So now you're forced to move the bishop back because it's stuck behind these two pawns. And yeah, it just ruins the whole flow. I just don't see it. I don't see a comeback coming out of this. Okay, king up. Oh, that's you moving.
Yeah, that's just what I can
He
only
might
imagine.
be. just resigning. I don't know that since he hasn't
I
moved.
wouldn't blame him if he did. I would. My God, I mean, nothing takes the wind out of your sails like that combination. Unfortunately, um, remarkably tough break for the youngster.
He
Blockade.
was really cooking this game. He was
Yeah,
looking.
man.
I thought we were gonna go to tie breaks just like 2 seconds ago.
Yeah. Oops. My bad. Let's see there. I don't know. I could go. It's messy still, but definitely winnable. Uh, move like that. We got to use what we can, right? No, my bad. Here we have king to d7. Unfortunately, that blocks this pawn now. Down goes the queen. Bishop f8 forced. Otherwise, what? Rook? I mean, you don't want anything tied down right now. I
So
would be fascinated even just to see like that. That's what I would play in the position, but go ahead.
oh yeah, just sack the knight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
You know,
Okay, we've got bishop back. I was thinking if we can't if we if we happen to get enough time, could
yeah.
we get a draw with boom, boom, and then king forced over, and then here, and then just back, here and back. I don't know.
Um,
If he blundered, if White happened to blunder just this
a
pawn,
repetition.
yeah, somehow maybe we could get a draw that way. I don't know.
I think there's f3, or you mean if so takes here takes and
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
back and then
Yeah,
check. Okay,
exactly. Yeah.
got it. Sorry, understood.
Um,
Uh,
that is a what if. That's the only like weird draw trick I can
yeah,
see.
yeah. Um, man, I mean, I will say, like, if White had at least lost a rook or the knight, I would say the bishop pair is pretty good compensation, but it's not um, in this position, unfortunately. Unfortunately, this is just pretty overwhelming. I think no matter what White does, and he's going to take his time.
Yeah, I mean,
Excuse me for a second. I'll be right back.
okay, so we got b4, which was the best move, and what to do. It's, I mean, this idea just is the only idea I can think of. Nothing else is active. I mean, your rook here is not gonna see the light of day. This bishop cannot move. Um, there's really no way to remove the knight right now. Maybe bishop up, and that's what we have on the board. Okay, bishop up, and
I'll walk away for 1 second. What happened?
looking to remove the knight. We got b4, and then
Okay.
we got bishop uh, up to e4, trying to get the knight out.
Knight g3 is fairly natural.
Yeah.
Where else you can move it?
Yeah, knight g3.
Queen a4 check as well is always on the table.
Yeah, I
Follows.
like that. Oh, and he does play that. That's very nice. Queen a4 check. This cannot be taken, obviously.
Why
And
not?
when the king moves, yeah, I know. Expert analysis.
Don't tell me what I can and can't do. Old man.
I think illegal moves should be allowed, Like
You know?
let's just let people lose their king. That's part of the game.
Legalize it.
Yeah, legalize it.
Killing me. Legalize moving a check.
Why not?
Congressman, we've had enough. Like, sir, I don't know what you want me to do. uh,
King back, and now do we have to move the knight? Oh my gosh, look at this.
what's that?
Oh, you want my knight?
Oh
Take
my.
my knight.
Oh goodness.
Now what are you gonna do?
Oh, the pain, the misery.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a cat. Hello. Kitty cat. There's
So,
another cat. He's got it. Look at that.
oh my
You take control.
gosh,
I've got a cat in my arms.
he finds
Yo,
just
look at him go.
completely ignoring any threats, and Tanav not taking, realizing
Yep.
danger, moving the king.
Queen b5 looks good.
Queen b5, bishop can block,
And
but
push the pawn.
yeah. Okay, so queen b5, and that's on the board.
No.
So Steve just seeing all the best moves,
All the tactics.
and
Oh,
king
I
runs
mean.
to the corner. And what is the winning move?
Oh.
Um,
Rook c1 probably. No, we could still push.
yeah, so if we push, we go here,
Just
and
back. It's okay.
queen has to move.
It'd be a pretty savage move to just play
Okay, so
c7 anyways, though.
Steve plays like the best move again, and Tanav responds with the best move. And
What if
where
we
do
just
you?
play c7 here instead of work? And this no,
I mean,
it doesn't because the
it,
rook comes back.
I mean it. Yeah.
Let's promote this. Very cheeky.
Yeah, I mean, basically just saying like I can give up my queen and I'm still winning. Yeah,
but let's just defend it. That's the thing to do here. Maybe even here.
I think the classroom board is a little bit out of
So
whack.
monkey.
Sorry, let me get back to where we are. Oops. Okay. Back to the live position. And queen to c4 is what you're saying.
I think it makes sense. I mean, defend the pawn. Queen a6 works too, I suppose.
Queen a6. Queen a6 with the idea of just pushing
Yeah,
again. Yeah.
and eventually we get a rook behind there.
Yeah. The sad
That's
thing is this bishop just can't get out. It's just
right.
stuck. It's just being dominated by this knight that you
Yeah,
can't even take.
yeah, yeah.
I
It's tough, man. I mean, it's tough.
I mean, I guess once this queen moves, then you can just take the knight.
Great tenacity.
But if you take it,
And
yeah,
then you're not defending these squares anymore.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, we're
yeah,
gonna get
yeah,
in.
yeah.
Do, 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 do,
Steve
do,
just
do.
kind of using his time, which is very nice,
That's what I want to see.
promoting tonight.
Yeah, man.
I think we'll see maybe something a little more classy from Steve, but I would love to see it too. Let's get. Have you ever seen those videos of Hikaru or whoever just like promoting to like 10 nights? It's kind of funny.
Yeah, you better believe it. It'd be even more poetic if the queen was on a6 and he promoted to a knight uh, to get mate on a7.
Steve trying to find the most elegant
Finish.
finish.
Or is in the bathroom. Who knows? uh, oh, man. Excuse me.
When's your next tournament?
This Saturday.
Oh, this
In
Saturday.
fact,
Nice.
I just opened the thing to see if anyone else had signed up. Apparently, the Texas Tech students sign up really late because they're
Right.
Texas Tech college students. And they're all fairly good because they're in the program, uh, the chess program. It's got to be C7 now. Excuse me. But yeah, I just looked up to see if anyone had signed up, and no, nobody else. Some of my students, though, from the school have signed up. I was giving one of them some grief today about being in the. They're unrated, but they're not brand new.
Right.
Um,
Checkmate incoming.
it's like you're in the lower novice section. You're probably going to be playing like 8-year-olds, right? And they said, "What?" They're in middle school. And they said, "What?" Like, yeah, you okay with that? Like, well, I don't want to do that. It's like, well, truthfully, they'll probably win. Just telling you.
And Steve finds it. Well done.
Good stuff, guys.
What a
Good stuff.
comeback. Tanav was basically in the driver's seat, looking to
Look at
even up
that.
the match, and just a very subtle
Oh
mistake,
yeah.
and it was just a catastrophe.
Yeah,
So
has to
Steve,
do with.
can we
Sorry,
back
go
up
ahead.
to right before Steve hangs the knight? I do want to see that.
Oh, before Steve hangs the night. Yeah.
And then it's only a couple. Yeah, okay. So a couple moves later. Okay, yeah. So it was moving the queen to get the queen involved, which actually I liked the idea. It's just that the
Of
knight was
course.
sitting there. Um. So yeah, he moves to yeah, continue on. Knight goes bye bye. Castle's knight back. We continue to make space for the pawns or a take of the knight. And then Tanav makes a critical mistake, which it's not exactly clear.
Very subtle mistake.
When I saw the eval bar, I liked rook over right to open the open G file sitting there. When he
When
moves the
I saw
bishop,
this, I was like, uh oh. So,
when I
yeah,
when
yeah.
I saw the bishop move, I thought, well, that wasn't ideal, but not a big deal. And then the eval bar swung before I could really contemplate what had happened. And Steve did not. I think he didn't take very long, did he? He kind of spotted it
No,
right
he
away.
snapped it.
Yeah, he just immediately saw it. So
It's a very subtle mistake having to do with controlling squares, um,
yeah,
which is not always easy.
yeah,
Not always easy to
you,
see.
you can just see this and the
Right.
simple remove the defender,
Yeah.
and he takes, and Tanav at this point has to play a
Can't
very
get out of it.
uncomfortable move. Yeah, just to kind of say, whoops, I made a mistake. Let me recover. And from here, we would have seen a slugfest probably that
Yeah.
would have gone on.
This would have been interesting.
Yeah.
Just with the queen coming in, these pawns coming to life.
And I could have seen myself even making this mistake that Tanav
Yeah,
made because
I would have.
you are so in the driver's seat. You know, you just, there's no worries. You're up a piece. And it's just like, okay, a simple exchange. You know, what's the big deal? And I do not blame Tanav at all for that mistake.
No,
Um,
not at all.
but a great find by Steve, and Steve really finished it off nicely. Actually, both players made a lot of good moves at the end of the game.
If we go back here, though, knight a5 is played, but why? To get the bishop, right?
Right.
So on move 19, you wanted the bishop. On move 21, all of a sudden we don't want the bishop for some reason. And
Mm,
so I mean, if you're up a piece, just
yeah.
trade, uh, and we can deal with this. Maybe that was the concern, I suppose, was how am I going to deal with lions opening up and the queen coming in, and but we can deal with it because this pawn's paralyzed. There's no threat here. We have threats of our own. Um, it's going to be okay in this position, essentially, is what I would say. And we can even get our bishop a little more active. We have passed pawn, and this is beautiful position. This is the slow plan, but once all the dust settles, white has this to worry about, and everything under the sun attacking that king to worry about. So um, a good way to set up your end game. Once you win that piece, you just start trading, man. And with this structure, I mean, it's this structure versus that structure. And I have a good feeling about Black's chances if we go down to an end game. What do you think?
Absolutely. Yeah, sorry, I was just updating the scene.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah. I mean, I like the trade of that piece. You know, you do got to be careful about just trading everything down. Obviously, just you know, taking the knight and opening
Yeah,
up.
don't do that.
Don't do
But
that. But yeah, definitely this piece that you set out to trade for anyhow. Might as well just follow through with that plan.
and
Um,
really, if we get our queen out of the way, like I said, Imperial March.
yeah,
He is done. I
yeah.
mean,
Getting rooks to open files, especially on the file that the king is on, or a high value piece like the queen,
sure.
always a good idea. So also combined with this bishop staring down at
Oh yeah, no, it,
G2.
it's. I mean, you're going to be forced to play moves like that, and that's a major concession for white. And you even have ideas like this.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
beautiful. Oh, excuse me. That's what we want. That's what we want.
Forcing the queens off, and then you just
Yeah, the difference is this is not good.
no, it's not.
um, Forcing the queens off, and like I said, this end game is even down a rook, bishop pair, pass pawn, gorgeous.
Good stuff.
Yeah, man,
Yeah, the guys played great. I
absolutely.
mean, yeah, I've really been enjoying these matches. It's
Me
been
too,
interesting, different players, different styles each time, and really cool still with the DGT setup from Jason, and
for sure.
yeah, just really enjoying this. This was a lot of fun. Sorry
Very
again,
instructive
people, for
games.
we're hearing babies screaming and everything. I hope it wasn't too much, but I had a blast.
I don't know what's worse, hearing the baby scream or hearing us scream about chess.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
All right. Well, I guess with that we will wrap it up, Chase. Unless you had anything else.
now I'm gonna go eat dinner.
Yep. Good stuff. Well, congrats to Steve. Well played, Tanav. And yeah, I guess with that we will call it a day, and we will see you again. I'm sure we don't have a live match planned yet, but
At the
content
next thing.
content coming from Chase on his Concho Chess stream, or from myself on my stream.
Oh yeah,
And I think I have on my plate. I have gonna show everybody how I lost to Daniel. It was kind of an instructive game, and I'm kind of curious to actually analyze it, because it should have been close, but I misplayed the end game, and maybe I could have gotten a draw out of it, and then also
send me that game.
yeah, it'll be interesting. Anyways, all right, everybody, have a great night, and yeah, go play some chess, go play some Blitz. I'll probably try to play a game of Blitz or two tonight. We'll see.
Fair enough.
All right.
Cheers.
Yep. Cheers, everybody.